So far, we have gone over the shelf design concept, the design of the leg forms, building the forms and casting the legs, as well as mixing experiments. And now for the final chapter, finishing the shelf form, then casting and installing the shelf. Here is the shelf form prepped and ready to go. Going outside, we see the mixer is ready, and down here on the ground I've got all the ingredients. If you've seen any of the other videos with perlite in the mixer, there has always been a big poof of it billowing out of the mixer, so this time I have a cover tied in place with a rope. If this works okay, I will have to go get me a piece of elastic. Now I am ready to start mixing. In goes the cement and sand, as well as the fiberglass cuttings. I will let that run for a bit to make sure everything gets well mixed together. Now I slowly add the water to avoid any splash out. When it gets to a certain consistency, I drop the backs of the mixer to again avoid splash out. Now I am just waiting until it is a thoroughly mixed slurry. A quick inspection and cleaning anything that is stuck to the bottom of the barrel. Eventually, I plan on adding a remote switch so I don't have to walk to the back. Now here comes the perlite. Oops, I got a poof and lost some. No! On goes my new cover and cinched it down with a rope. I let it run for about 45 seconds, then opened it up to take a look. Now is just a matter of waiting and watching. Periodically, I still need to make sure none of the mix is stuck to the bottom or sides. Checking the nuggets, at this point in the past I've always added more water, but after my bricks, I'm fairly certain I have the correct amount. The stuff at the bottom looks pretty good, and I think I just have to wait until those nuggets break up. At this point, it seems there's some magic happening and it's all starting to come together. Now we're ready to dump it out. It's not so heavy that I could not pick it up, but the bin is too flimsy and I will have to transfer some to a bucket. First thing I'm going to do is place and pack around the locating pins to ensure there are no voids. I'm going to avoid a lot of vibration because that can result in the perlite flowing to the surface as the mixture becomes fluid. My intent was to fill it up halfway and then place the rebar, but that did not work out so well. The more I agitated the mix, the more they sank, so I decided to pull them out. Getting close to the end of what is mixed, and I'm a little worried I don't have enough. Now it is time to start the screeding process, being careful not to lose any off the sides. Now it looks like there's almost the perfect amount. After screeding, it is time to press the rebar down about halfway. Filling up some low spots and a final screeding, and it is time to wait for it to set up. I periodically checked on it, and after 4 hours I thought it was stiff enough to tool it. This side will be the top of the shelf, so I'm just trying to get a uniformly smooth, flat surface. The far corner appears to have shrunk a bit, and in that bucket was the leftover mix. I had it in the refrigerator to inhibit it setting up in case I needed it as a patch. I suggest you not do that if you're married.
Oh no!
Whoops! The camera battery died, but here it is finished off, and now to wait until it's fully set and then wrap it in plastic. Finally, time to break the mold. It's actually been 2 weeks because I had other things to do last weekend. First thing I have to do is get rid of all that plastic. First look, it's a bit blotchy, but the color should even out as the water evaporates. Previous projects had better tone, and I think that was because I had used a colorant. After making sure I removed all of the screws, I was a little surprised about how easy it came off. Let's hope everything goes this easy. I used a slotted blade screwdriver to scrape off what was left over on the top of the side. Later, I plan on grinding that corner into a small radius. Notice outside the door is my shredder that I converted to electric. Up here in the corner is a link to that project. At this point, I'm pondering whether or not the bottom is going to come off this easy. A quick look around thinking about how I'm going to do this, and I noticed each corner where the cove was at had a surface I could hit with a hammer. I think I will either flip it over upside down or leave it standing on edge while hitting those corners. A few light taps while I had it on edge and I can see a gap. Now I just need to go around to each corner to separate it. Seems to be stuck. Finally, with a little bit of force, I could see a large gap and find that the plastic I used had some folds in it and was embedded in the shelf. Now finally, there is my shelf. A little bit of cleanup and it will be ready to install. Now I got the potting bench prepped and ready to install the shelf. The legs held in place with a couple of tie-down straps. My first attempt at installing it, I'm going to lie down underneath it and, like a bench press, lift it up and slide it in. Per my calculations, it should weigh in at about 60 pounds, but I do not have a scale to validate that. If it were made from normal concrete, then it would have been twice that weight. Here we go. Note that this is a 1.5 inch thick concrete slab, 39.5 inches wide by 22 inches deep. Laying down under the bench and then dropping the shelf down on top of my chest. Then pushing it up and sliding it in. It got stuck here because it was going in at an angle and got wedged in. I'm reaching up, trying to find those locating pins. And now wondering, do I really need them? But since I designed it with the pins, I'm going to get them installed. Lifting up one end, I find the holes in the leg, drop in the pins, and the shelf falls right down into place.
No!
Now it seems I lost one of the pins. Found the pin, and again, drop in the pins, but I had to loosen up the strap to get the holes to line up with the shelf. Pull out the straps, and now I have a shelf on my potting bench. And this is the conclusion of the potting bench shelf project. Be sure to subscribe to be notified when new projects get posted.